Today we focus on Parashot Mishpatim. Mishpatim is the continuation of the giving of the commandments as they were given on Mount Sinai. Mishpatim is said to be given at the night, while some of the other commandments were given during the day. And it starts in Exodus chapter 21, verse 1. These are the laws you are to set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he is to serve you for 6 years, but in the 7th year he shall go free, without paying anything. If he comes alone, he is to go free alone. But if he has a wife, when he comes, she is to go with him. And this is Hebrew to Hebrew, believer to believer. There are various levels to the Israeli system. There were those who had and those who had not. No matter what your caste, you were to treat all others equally, and after serving for 6 years, your servant, more so your family member, was to be set free. We tend to use the word servant in this as if it's a slave being kept, but what you're dealing with is someone who takes care of your family, someone who is a family member, someone who is seen as though they are a servant and called a servant. Though they are a servant and referred to as a servant, they are really seen as a member of your family who serves you. Though we take this as a servant leadership position, it's truly a member of the family who serves your family, but is always a part of the family. Verse 15 says, if anyone attacks his father or mother, he must be put to death. This is interesting because this refers directly to the 5th commandment, which is honor your father and your mother that your days may be long upon the land. We tend to not see this as an addition, but this is a rule, a mitzvot, a regulation that says if you are to dishonor your family, you must be put to death. The Hebrew reads, and the one attacking his father or his mother will surely be killed. It does not give question. It does not give consideration. It says if you attack your father and your mother, you will be put to death. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land. Verse 22 starts, if a man steals an ox or sheep and slaughters it and sells it, he must pay back 5 head of cattle or an oxen and 4 sheep for the sheep. If a thief is caught breaking in and is struck so that he dies, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. But if it happens after sunrise, he is guilty of bloodshed. Theft is wrong no matter what you do. But if you steal, there must be restitution. It must be made right, and restitution must come through overpaying. And if you're caught stealing, there must be restitution for that theft. We have to take into consideration the concern of the other, the concern of the one who was stolen from, and what is the responsibility of the thief. If anyone has sexual relations with an animal, he must be put to death. And while there are numerous cartoons that promote this behavior and promote this lifestyle, it clearly says bestiality is not to be accepted. Elohim knew this would take place even in the promised land. Therefore, he put laws in place to make sure the people would not participate. The Hebrew says, all lying down with a beast will surely be killed. The word used here is yomat. Yomat is a word often used for the person's memory will be done away with. Not just killed, but their field and their property burned, and their memory shall be done away with within the tribe. Verse 20, whoever sacrifices to any god other than the Lord must be destroyed. Do not mistreat an alien or oppress him, for you are an alien in Egypt. Do not take advantage of the widow or orphan If you do, and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. We are to take care of those who are less fortunate, those who don't have as much. We are to look into their well-being and take care of them accordingly. And verse 28, do not blaspheme God or curse the ruler of your people. And many of us are quick to criticize the ruler of a country, a nation, or a city. But we should not curse the ruler. If you are not pleased with what the ruler is doing, take action to have them put out of office. But it's not for us to curse and criticize, for we don't know what they're going through. It's for us to take the appropriate action and make sure, if underqualified, they don't serve again. Chapter 23, verse 1 says, do not spread false reports. Do not help a wicked man by being a malicious witness. Do not follow the crowd in its wrongdoing. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd, and do not show favoritism to a poor man in his lawsuit. And verse 4, if you come across your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, be sure to take it back to him. Make sure you're treating those you do business with fairly. Fairness is a part of the Torah and a part of our culture, and should be a part of your lifestyle. You shouldn't just go along with the crowd to get out and follow suit. You should look into doing things fairly and justly so that a person can have a just trial in front of their peers. And chapter 23, verse 14 says, 3 times a year, you are to celebrate the festival to me. These festivals being Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread. For 7 days, eat bread made without yeast, as I command you. Do this at the appointed time in the month of Abib. For in that month you came out of Egypt. No one is to appear before me empty-handed. Celebrate the Feast of Harvest with the first fruits of your crops you sow in the field. Celebrate the Feast of Ingathering at the end of year, when you gather in the crops of your field. 3 times a year, all men are to appear before me, the sovereign Lord. It clearly states that 3 times a year we are to feast and celebrate. 3 times a year we are to remember the feasts, and we are to remember not only Elohim, but they are feasts in remembrance of his son Yeshua. We are to take part in these feasts and celebrate accordingly. We are to make plan and provision for these dates as they come up, and celebrate Elohim and celebrate his greatness. Celebrate what he has done for you. Celebrate his goodness. Celebrate his mercy. Celebrate his everlasting kindness, and give praise. And on these days of feast, enjoy with family, enjoy with friends, enjoy with those you come in contact with, and make remembrance of Yeshua the Messiah, but also representing the feasts that are to come in the future.